I thought my marriage was perfect. Then I found a second phone hidden in the freezer. I used to describe my marriage the way people describe a well-reviewed Airbnb. Clean, quiet, great location, no surprises. My wife, Claire, and I had been together for 9 years, married for 6. No screaming fights, no dramatic breakups, no suspicious work trips. If marriages had Yelp pages, ours would have had 4.5 stars and one complaint about the neighbor's dog. That illusion shattered on a Tuesday night in sweatpants while I was looking for frozen peas. It was one of those aggressively boring evenings. Claire was already asleep, our cat was judging me from the counter, and I was halfway through reheating leftover pasta when I realized we were out of vegetables. I opened the freezer, moved a pizza box, a bag of ice, and that's when I saw it. A phone. Not wrapped, not hidden well, just a phone, lying there like it belonged next to the waffles. My first thought wasn't cheating, it was, why is our freezer more organized than my desk? I stood there way too long, freezer door open, frost slowly numbing my hand while my brain tried to generate logical explanations. Maybe it was an old phone. Maybe I was sleepwalking again. Maybe Claire had joined the CIA and this was a spy phone that needed to stay cold for spy reasons. All equally stupid. The phone buzzed. In the freezer. A notification lit up the screen, a name I didn't recognize, and a heart emoji. I wish I could say I calmly closed the freezer and waited until morning. What I actually did was yank the phone out like it might explode, slam the freezer shut, and whisper, "What the hell?" to no one. The phone was unlocked. No passcode. That somehow felt worse. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at this glowing rectangle like it was staring back. Then another message popped up. "Miss you already, heart. Can't wait until Thursday." Thursday. Claire had yoga on Thursdays. I opened the messages. I know. Privacy, trust, moral high ground. But the second you find a secret phone in your freezer, the moral high ground slides right into hell. The texts went back months. Inside jokes, selfies, plans, and then there it was, the line that made my stomach drop. "I love you." Sent by my wife to a man saved as Jay. I didn't cry. I laughed. A sharp, hysterical laugh that startled the cat and made me sound like a low-budget villain. Because, of course my perfect marriage had a DLC pack I didn't know about. I checked the photos. Nothing explicit, but intimate. Her smile was different, softer. The smile she used to give me before bills and schedules and grocery lists took over our lives. I heard footsteps. Claire was awake. I panicked, shoved the phone into my hoodie pocket, and pretended to be very invested in cold pasta. She came in, kissed my head, and said, "Why are you eating standing up?" I looked at her and wondered how long she'd been lying to my face this casually. Then she yawned and said she was going back to bed. Thursday suddenly felt very close. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay there replaying every moment from the last year, searching for clues like a deranged detective. Yoga Thursdays, girls' nights, the sudden interest in perfume, the freezer phone. By morning, I had two options: confront her immediately or find out who Jay was. I chose the third option, which was worse. I decided to wait, and that decision would blow everything up. The next few days felt like I was living in a prank show where everyone knew the punchline except me. Claire hummed while making coffee. She asked if I wanted eggs. Eggs, like my entire world hadn't cracked open next to the frozen chicken nuggets. I nodded, smiled, and internally screamed. The phone stayed hidden in my backpack, vibrating occasionally like it was mocking me. I checked it obsessively in the bathroom, at work, once in line at the bank like a lunatic. Jay turned out to be Jason, married, 2 kids. His wife's name was Emily. I know this because people overshare online like it's a competitive sport. One Facebook search and suddenly I knew Jason liked CrossFit, craft beer, and posting inspirational quotes about honesty. Irony so thick you could spread it on toast. Claire and Jason met at, drumroll please, yoga. Of course they did. Nothing says spiritual growth like emotional betrayal. Thursday came, Claire kissed me goodbye and said she'd be late. I said okay in a voice so normal it deserved an Oscar. The second she left, I called in sick to work and sat on the couch staring at the wall. At 7:43 p.m., the freezer phone buzzed. A selfie. Claire smiling in a mirror I didn't recognize. Jason replied with a heart. Something in me snapped, not dramatically, not explosively, quietly, like a fuse burning down. I did something I'm not proud of. I texted Emily from the freezer phone. I wrote, "Hi, I think our spouses are having an affair." Then I turned the phone off and waited. 20 minutes later, my own phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Emily didn't scream. She didn't cry. She laughed. A dry, exhausted laugh. She said, "I knew it." Apparently, Jason had his own version of a freezer phone, hidden in a golf bag. Cheaters, it turns out, love dumb hiding spots. We talked for 2 hours, compared notes, shared screenshots like war veterans trading scars. By the end, we had a plan. Not revenge porn, not public shaming, something better. We'd confront them together. Same place, same time, yoga studio parking lot. Thursday, next week. I hung up feeling strangely calm, like I'd stepped off a cliff and discovered I could fly. Or at least fall with style. The week crawled. Claire noticed I was distant, asked if I was okay. I said work stress. She offered a massage. I almost laughed again. On confrontation day, Emily and I met first. She was sharper than I expected, calm, focused. We sat in our cars like it was a stakeout. Then they arrived, Claire and Jason, laughing, touching, alive in a way I hadn't seen in months. We stepped out at the same time. The look on Claire's face will live rent-free in my brain forever. Shock, fear, guilt, in that order. Jason tried to speak. Emily cut him off with one sentence. "How long were you planning to lie to our kids?" Silence. People stared. Someone dropped a yoga mat. I handed Claire the freezer phone. She started crying. Jason didn't. That's when Jason said, "This isn't what it looks like." And that's when Emily said, "Then explain the second phone." And that's when Jason smiled, and said, "Which one?" Turns out the freezer phone wasn't the only secret. Jason had been cheating on Emily for years. Multiple women. Burner phones like a hobby. Claire knew. She thought she was the real one, the chosen one, the final chapter. Watching that realization hit her was brutal and oddly poetic. Her affair partner wasn't a soulmate. He was a serial liar with a CrossFit addiction. She looked at me like she expected sympathy. I felt tired. Everything unraveled fast after that. Emily filed first. I moved out a week later. Claire begged, cried, promised therapy, honesty, transparency. I told her I needed space. What I meant was I needed air. Time passed in weird chunks. Some days I was fine. Others, I'd see frozen peas at the store and feel my chest tighten. Trauma's fun like that. Here's the twist no one expects. Emily and I stayed friends. Not romantically, don't get excited. Trauma bond buddies. We joked about starting a support group called Spouses of People Who Can't Commit to One Phone. Dark humor helps. Claire and Jason imploded spectacularly. He ghosted her, she quit yoga. I kept the freezer phone for a while, turned off, like a cursed artifact. A year later, my life is smaller but quieter. I cook real meals, I sleep through the night. Sometimes I laugh about how the universe chose a freezer to drop a bomb on my marriage. Sometimes I still get angry, but mostly I'm grateful. Because perfection is fragile, and the truth, even frozen solid, eventually thaws. So yeah, if your marriage feels perfect, maybe check the freezer, just in case.